Hello, everyone. This is another episode of The Greg Larson Show. If you like my show, if you like my comedy, if you just like me, I want you to go on to my Patreon, patreon.com/Greg Larson. GregLarsen. That's Greg Larson on Patreon. And that way I can do my comedy and you can have a fun time. You get to listen to the episodes without any ads. You get to listen to the episodes without me saying, hey, join the Patreon. And you get discounts to live shows. And every now and again, there's a little Patreon extra episode too. So get on the Patreon and see you now.
The Greg Larson Show. The big unit is ready to go. The Greg Larson Show. Muck around on the marzipan. A fresh custard in his hand. The greatest podcast in all the land. Greg Larson Show.
Crap, man.
Great, just what we need. Another
Crap, man. Crap, man.
Can we get a price check on a gob job, please? That's a price check on one gob job. Can I just get a quick price check on a sloppy wet gob job? I'm just gonna need a price check on that gob job. Gob job.
Thanks so much for joining me in another episode of The Greg Larson Show. I wanted to do a little explainer episode where I tell you about American politics.
Dick.
It's rude o'clock.
Come.
Rude o'clock. Everyone
It's-
get down.
it's rude
It's
o'clock.
time to have news reports.
Orgasm.
I'm rootin'.
Pussy.
Finger rootin'. Dick and pussy roots.
Crap, man.
It's rude o'clock.
American politics.
Squirt.
Here's your
Come.
host, Greg Larson.
Hello.
Come.
Root.
Welcome to the state of American politics. I want to do a little explainer on American politics. What's going on? How did we get there? I know, I feel like this is... People ask me a lot to do an episode about Trump and politics over there, and I always kind of don't want to because I'm like, what am I going to say that hasn't already been said? But I thought maybe just a little... Just explainer, like start from the start. Kind of like the Israel one, but like way quicker. This is not a fucking 2-hour episode. This is not even close, cunt. This is not even fucking close. But also, unlike the Israel one, I'm doing this from memory. I didn't look shit up. I didn't look fucking nothing up, dude. I wrote some stuff down, but I didn't look up nothing. If I got stuff wrong, suck shit. I got it wrong. This is my version of American politics. How did we get here? How did we get to this state with Donald Trump and all the rest of it? How did it happen? Except this is American politics from memory. All right, so let's get started. What's going on? Basically, this country called America, it happened in the 18th century. I'm not gonna do the whole fucking history of America. I'm just explaining why it's so shit. Because America, spoiler alert, America is a dog shit country for fuckheads, right? United States of America. It's a fuckhead country, and we need to know why. Why is it a fuckhead country? So to start at the beginning, when America was founded in the 18th century, it was the 1770s. I know it's hard, it's confusing sometimes. 18th century, but it says 1770s. What the? As Rove would say, what the? Anyway, the Americans lived in America, and they all pretty much were like, oh, we're English. They all considered themselves English. They were like, we love England, we love the king, we want to gobble on King George's knob. They were keen as a bean to gobble on the knob of King George. But they were upset because they were getting taxed and they didn't have anyone over in Parliament in the UK, in England, right? And they didn't want to not pay the tax. They just wanted to have someone in Parliament. They were like, we just want to be in Parliament. Like let us be in there, dude. We love England. We love you. We are you. And the English were like, actually, we won't tax you after all, but you can't be in Parliament. And the Americans were like, fuck you. And then there were some riots, and then England went, nah, fuck you. And then America said, fuck this. And they started shooting the English. And that admittedly was pretty cool. Like a good start to a country. Getting the redcoats, shooting them. The problem they had was that the English were way, way stronger and better. And like not even close. Like the Americans were shit at shooting people, and they got better at it as history would go on. But they were shit at it. They were no good. They definitely would have lost. But France was a country that existed at the time that was like even bigger and stronger than America and England, probably. It was big and strong. The French were like, fucking, we're going crazy with cannons and shit. They were mental for cannons. And they came in and they were like, yeah, we fucking hate England, dude. Because France and England were trying to see who would be the boss of everywhere. So they had France got in the war, and America were like, fuck this. England were like, fuck this. We can't do this shit. We can't fight it like America and France. Let's just stop it. And then they stopped the war because France were too good. And so basically France beat the English, and then the Americans pretended they won themselves. It's like when you're playing Call of Duty and you get beaten by the other team, and there's this 13-year-old shit cunt on the other team who's shit-talking everyone, and he's going, suck shit, losers, we won. But he had the worst kill-death ratio of anyone. He was just like the team carried him. That's America in this story, right? America sucks. They did a shit war, but France saved them, according to my memory. I can't. And anyway, the Americans were like, well, we're going to make this thing called the Constitution. It's going to be a document. This guy called Thomas Jefferson, who was like, I hate slavery, but I own all these slaves. What the? He made this thing called the Constitution. A bunch of them did. They were all like, let's get this Constitution. And it's like a document that says, it's like laws, but like what laws you can make. It's about what laws you're allowed to make, right? So the Constitution is like, you're never allowed to make a law that says you can't wear hats. That's not one of the things. That's just an example. It's a law about laws. And they made the Constitution. And it fucking sucked. Like, it wasn't very good. Like, but admittedly, back in the day, they didn't have the internet. They didn't have spell check and shit. They didn't have ChatGPT. It wasn't thought through that well, if I'm being honest with you. In hindsight, there were heaps of things in there. Like, the language was vague. There were so many things like that it didn't make any sense. Like, and people still argue about it today. They're like, what does the Second Amendment mean? It's like, well, fucking who cares what? They can't figure out what it means. They're like, does it mean you're allowed to have a militia, or does it mean you're allowed to own arms, or like what arms? Like guns, like missiles, like what? And they argue about it. It's like, just fucking get rid of it, cunt. Write a new one. If you can't fucking figure it out, just write a new one. It sucks. But anyway, this document was shit. And for 250 years, everyone was like, nah, man, it's basically the Bible. It's basically the Bible. They love the Constitution. They're obsessed with it. They fucking love it. So anyway, America for this whole 250 years or whatever it was, from when they started to, well, more like 200 years or less, they were pretty much just a shit country. They were a shithole country. Everyone hated them. They weren't good and they sucked. They fucking sucked.
Here we go.
We're finally here, performing for you. It's the first words you can join in too. If you hands together, if you wanna clap, and we take you through this monkey rap. DK, Donkey Kong.
Oh, cool. I can continue it later. Anyway, America sucked. They weren't big. They weren't powerful. They were just a shit country for fuckheads. Then World War I happened, and they came in right at the end, and they pretended that they helped, but they didn't really. They were shit. Who cares? Then World War II happened, and at first America was shit. They were losing heaps of battles. The Japanese were beating them. They weren't very good, but they had heaps of dudes. They had a lot of dudes, and they had a lot of coal and a lot of steel, like a fuck ton of coal and steel and dudes. And it didn't really matter that they were shit at first because they had enough dudes and steel that they were like, oh, some dudes got blown up and some steel got blown up. We'll just get some more dudes and some more steel. And then they started getting better at not getting killed. And they, got better at it, and they started winning battles. And then they invented a nuclear bomb, and then they blew it up, and it was fucking crazy. And then World War II ended, and America was the most powerful country on earth by heaps. Well, Soviet Union was pretty powerful too. They were wankers, but they were strong. And they were just, and they knew it, and they were just, I reckon that's when they got real loud, and they just started like going on about stuff like, I'm going to go have a hoagie. And they were like, oh, let's make sitcoms about young couples living in apartments. And they can eat hoagies. I don't know what the fuck they do. They got loud and were like, oh, how are you? How are you? Like they want to know how you are. Anyway, thing is, all this time passing, all this crazy shit happening in the world, Americans were busy with, Hollywood, with music, World War II, fucking Vietnam War, all these other wars. They forgot, because they were too busy, they forgot to have like a proper democracy. Like they said at the start, they were like, oh, we're going to have this democracy. We're going to get this democracy going. And they just kind of they never really got around to it. Like they said they were going to do it, but they just they just didn't. Like they had this sort of like a fake proto form of democracy from when they started, but it wasn't that was from when it was like only white dudes who own land could vote, and they were too busy jerking off on the Constitution and rubbing their cum all over the Constitution to think about how to have an actual good government. So America in the 20th century was an oligarchy. An oligarchy is basically where it's just rich aristocrats, oligarchs, whatever, who control everything. And that's what they were. And that's how you get a situation like we had at the end of the 20th century and in the start of the 21st century, right? Because they had an oligarchy. They had a president, and his last name was Bush. Then they had a president called Clinton. Then they had another president called Bush. Then they had a president called Obama, who was a bit of a combo breaker. And then they were about to have another president called Clinton. Like, that was what America was, right? Or is. It was just rich family dynasties swapping political positions with each other. So they went from a Bush to a Clinton to a Bush to an Obama to potentially a Clinton. And everyone fucking hated it. Americans were like, fuck this. There's too many fucking Kennedys and Bushes and Clintons and fucking... It's just the same cunts because we have an oligarchy. Everyone hated it, but what are they going to do? Because the thing is, like, America never got a proper democracy because they had this old school style of voting. And you can never get a new guy in the mix with this old school style. Like, they have this voting... Like, everywhere in the world has normal voting, which is better. Not everywhere in the world, obviously. There's lots of places bad, like North Korea or the bottom of the ocean, that has no voting as far as I'm aware. I don't think there's any voting that occurs at the bottom of the ocean. But America has this shit old form of voting called first past the post, which just means you get one vote, you vote for one guy. I mean, not always a guy, but it's mostly a guy. You vote for one person, and whoever gets the most raw number of votes wins. There's not like a minimum amount of votes you got to get. It's just whoever gets the biggest number wins, right? So if you have a race with 10 candidates, and one of them gets, I don't know, you got 100 votes. One of them gets 10 votes. The others get one each. and a bunch of people don't vote, then the guy with 10 votes wins, even though 90 people didn't want him. Right? I think that makes sense. Like when you have first past the post voting, you can have situations where you have someone who doesn't have that much support, but they win because, the other votes get split. And, you can't have basically any kind of new parties or smaller parties. So they have this system that just never changes. It's this oligarchy that's just, we just got to keep it because there's no way to get rid of it because we got this piss fuck shit voting system. But every country that isn't like a piss fuck shit country, they have ranked choices where you can rank. If you got 10 candidates, you vote from 1 to 10 which one you like. And if number 10 gets the least votes, they're out. Then they go back and distribute the votes. And it's a fairer system. People can actually have a say. You can debate that and you can get on about the fucking, whether our system is that good and blah, blah, blah. But it's better than America, which sucks and it isn't proper. So yeah, America has like this absolute shit tier voting system. Small parties don't exist. In America, they only have 2 parties. Right? It's a 2-party system. It's not possible for a third party to exist. They have a party. One of the parties is a right-wing conservative party. They're called the Democrats. They hate immigrants, they hate poor people, and they take bribes from big corporations. That's their main thing. That's the right-wing conservative party. Then you have a really right-wing, really conservative party called the Republicans. They're basically the same. They hate immigrants, poor people, take bribes, but they also hate gay people and anyone who isn't white and women. So you've got these 2 parties, right? But because you've only got 2 parties in America, it's a 2-party system. You really only, realistically, you could just say it's one party. Because when you have 2 parties, the only way they can win is by trying to get the votes of the people, that are swing voters whose vote in between them, right? So they have to. It makes sense for them to be as similar as possible with the most minor differences, right? Because if you're too different, you'll lose a lot of swing voters. But if you're not, so they basically try and be as similar as they possibly can, and pick up the swing voters in the middle. So really, it's a one-party system. It's a one-party oligarchy that has different factions within the oligarchy that are functionally pretty similar. And now what happened, right, was 2016 comes along. 2016, there's a big election. They had George Bush for a while. He was shit. He bombed a bunch of countries in the Middle East. People didn't like him. Then they had this guy called Obama. He bombed a bunch of countries in the Middle East, but people were like, oh, he's cool. But people who voted Democrats were like, he's cool. But people who voted Republicans were like, hey, he's the fucking devil because he wasn't white. And they fucking hated that. Even though he was functionally not really that dissimilar to George Bush, like whatever, it's the same basic thing. But they were like, no, fucking, he sucks. Or other people were like, no, he's the fucking best. Anyway, he was done. He'd done 2 terms. It was time for someone new. And in 2016, the Democrats decided the person we're going to run is going to be called Clinton. She was another Clinton. It was going to go Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Clinton. Another rich oligarch, insider, who hated migrants, who loved bombing brown people, who was married to a pedophile, who was involved in a pedophile ring, who she helped protect. That was the Democrat nominee for president. There was another guy who was possibly going to be the nominee, who was extremely popular and very well liked. It looked like he was going to win the nomination, and his name was Bernie Sanders. His party got scared, though, because they were like, oh, if he won, we might not be able to take bribes, or at least take as many bribes. And, Hillary Clinton will let us take bribes. So they sabotaged Bernie Sanders in the primary. And then they made sure that Hillary Clinton won. So Hillary Clinton won, business as usual. There's going to be a Clinton in the White House, another oligarch, whatever. Now, the Republicans, they were trying to find their representative, and they were, same as the Democrats, because they're basically the same. They were like, let's, do the same thing. Let's get another oligarch. They were trying to get another Bush in. They were like, let's go fucking Bush again. A third Bush. They got a Jeb Bush. They got this cunt called Ted Cruz. He was another oligarch. Rich Princeton boy from a well-to-do family and whatever. They were trying to chug along. Like the Republicans and the Democrats were like, let's do the same old thing. Let's fucking, don't muck with the system. We're going to have an oligarch. We're going to do some bribes. And then we're going to be like, oh, don't do that. And then in another 4 years, we'll get some other oligarch and have some bribes. But then in the Republican Party, something happened. Something happened that had not happened before. This guy came in. He's an opioid addict, a rapist, a child rapist. He was a pedophile who was involved with Jeffrey Epstein in Jeffrey Epstein's famous pedophile ring. This guy is named Donald Trump. He was also on reality TV. This guy's a fucking, like an absolute thick as dog shit fuckhead. He used to be a Democrat. He was a Republican at this point in time. It just, again, goes to show, like, it doesn't really, like, there was no fundamental difference. And this guy's never had any political opinions in his life. He was just, like, he was running half as a joke, mostly just because he wanted to promote his hotel chain, right? No one actually thought, oh, this Donald Trump fucking guy is going to win anything. And the thing was, though, because you got to remember, as I said, he's a senile old pedophile who shits his pants in public and wears an adult diaper. He doesn't give a shit, and he didn't care, and he didn't think he was going to win. He just says cook stuff, and people love it, right? He just says fucked up shit, and people love it, and he'd go, oh, cool, people are into it. And people liked Bernie Sanders because he was breaking the mold, right? He wasn't just saying the same old oligarchy bullshit. He was answering questions pretty directly. He wasn't giving you these long-winded, roundabout answers that didn't make sense. His name wasn't Bush or Clinton. And so Trump, was like Bernie in a lot of ways. But unlike Bernie, none of his policies made any sense. He didn't really make any sense. He basically, was fucked in the head. But he did say shit like, fuck Mexico, grab her by the pussy, lock up Hillary Clinton, I could shoot a guy in the street and get away with it. And Americans were so, A, sick of the same old bullshit, and B, so fucked in the head that they went, yeah, this guy rules. Like, that's how annoyed and distressed and fucking sick of people saying, we need to work together and create all Americans. They were so sick of hearing this monotone bullshit that they went, a guy sounds different, we'll vote for him. And maybe people were voting for him because they were like, fuck it, I don't care, just fuck politics, man. There were a lot of people that were like, fuck this shit, I'm going to vote for the guy that was on Celebrity Apprentice. Like, there were a lot of people that were just like, it's funny to me if I vote for the guy that was on Celebrity Apprentice. And people got pissed off about that. And then that just made them want to do it more because they were like, hey, it's funny that people are pissed off because I'm voting for the guy from Celebrity Apprentice. So I'm going to fucking vote even harder, man. So anyway, the Republican Party, they hated him. The actual, like, old school Republican Party, they didn't want him to win. They wanted a Bush or a Ted Cruz or a fucking, I don't know, some fucking oligarch, some old school fucking guy. But they were too disorganized to sabotage him in the same way that the Democrats sabotaged Bernie. So he won the nomination. Donald Trump won the nomination. And I don't know if people remember this, but at the time, nobody thought he was going to win. Like, no one was serious. Like, I think people in the people in the Republican Party, they were just like, oh, well, our party will get back to normal soon when Donald Trump loses and we can go back to getting a Bush in there. People in the Democrats were like, well, he's just given Hillary Clinton the election. He's no one's going to vote for a fucking reality TV star. He was like, no one's going to, he's the host of Celebrity Apprentice. He had a thing called Trump Steaks. He was once in a Home Alone movie. He killed his ex-wife. He was literally a pedophile. We knew that going in. Like, he's friends with Jeffrey Epstein, the guy that we all know is a big pedophile. So, and because everyone just thought there's no fucking way, Hillary Clinton were like, oh, we don't even have to run a good campaign. And then they were like, oh, fuck, his campaign's going well. So they were like, oh, I'll pretend I'm an outsider like he is. And he's not an outsider in the sense that he's a billionaire, but he is an outsider in the sense that he doesn't know how to talk. Problem is, Hillary Clinton has been inside rooms where they've organised drone strikes. There's no more insider than that. So everyone, Hillary ran a bad campaign. Trump just said cooked shit. And everyone misjudged, one, how much Americans hated the political class and the status quo and were willing to vote for fucking anything to change that, including a pants-shitting pedophile from the fucking TV. And they also misjudged, too, how fucking dumb most people are. Not Americans, just people. Like, let's be honest, it's fucking shocking sometimes. It's shocking. It's shocking. If you've ever worked in retail, it would shock you. It shocks you. Like, at the time, Trump, right, with the help of Russia, because he was being helped, because this is the other thing that gets glossed over, forgotten about, I don't know. But Russia were helping him win the election, and we know this pretty much certainly. He works for the Russian government. The theory is they have evidence of him being a pedophile, or I think there was a story about him pissing on someone or shitting on someone or something. Anyway, he spies on America for the Russians. And Russian bot farms decided to help Donald Trump by running fake news stories on Facebook, right? And it was around this time that fake news first became a thing, where people started saying fake news. But when they were saying that, they weren't referring to the way Donald Trump says fake news. Like, Donald Trump just calls, and Trump co-opted that term. He said, "Oh, there's anything that says anything bad about me, it's fake news. It's fake news. It's a very fake news. It's fake news." Does that sound like Trump? He would just say, yeah, like CNN or whatever the fuck, it's fake news. But back then there was, it was, talked about a lot that there was actual fake news. And I don't mean news stories that were biased or misleading. I mean, there were Facebook pages that Russia had started that were running actual fake stories using fake screenshots from websites that didn't exist. Right? They just make up, you'd have a screenshot from like a news site called The Times of England. And it's like, that doesn't exist. That website doesn't exist or whatever. And there would be headlines that were, photoshopped stories of things that didn't exist. Fucking Donald Trump saving a drowning baby from a car fire. Fucking Donald Trump giving $200 billion to an orphanage. Donald Trump spotted with the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse over the Nevada desert, warning that Hillary Clinton will eat your dad. Like, proper fake, like, nonsense garbage that was made up in Russian bot farms. And it was flooded all over Facebook, and boomers and people from the South ate that shit up. They literally, they ate that shit up. They printed pieces of paper with their Facebook fake news, and they ate it and consumed it for their power. He won the election. Shocking everyone, right? With the power of Russia and fake news, and because they have a fucked electoral system, Donald Trump shocked everyone, including himself, and won. He won the presidency of America. And it's crazy. It's still crazy to think back to those times and think about how it felt, going, wait. Like, what? Like the guy from Celebrity Apprentice. The fucking guy from Home Alone 2. Like, what are you talking about? He won the presidency. What the fuck are you talking about? Donald Trump? It was a joke in The Simpsons once. And it was a funny gag. What is it? Who's next? Fucking Carrot Top? Fucking Carrot Top? Tim Allen. But so yeah, he won the job. And he was shit at his job immediately. He didn't do almost any of the things he said he was going to do, even the bad things. He was like, I'm going to build a wall, just didn't build one. He did nothing. He just played golf and fucked around and beat a pedophile, right? But also, he won because America fucking sucks. Like I said before, right? They don't have a proper voting system. Like, it's not a proper democracy in America. Not really. So this is literally what happened. Hillary Clinton lost the election, and she got about 3 million more votes than Donald Trump. But America has a shit thing called the Electoral College, right? Which is basically, you live in a state in America and you vote, but your vote isn't really a vote. It's just like a suggestion box. And then that gets sent to some rich cunt who lives in the Electoral College or is in an Electoral College. I don't know what the fuck it is. But it's some rich cunt in a building somewhere, and they read your vote and they go, suggestion noted. And then they vote, and it's their vote that counts for who becomes the president. I think legally they can actually ignore your vote. I think they can. I don't think they do, but I think they can. I think they could I think they're allowed to just go, we're just not going to do that. I think legally your vote is just a suggestion. I could be getting that wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Israel is committing genocide. Israel is committing a genocide.
But in any case, the Electoral College, right, you send it to some rich cunt, they vote on your behalf, and even if, 49% of your state votes one way, the rich cunts' votes they'll never split their votes, right? If there's 10 people in the 10 Electoral College votes in the state, if 51% of people vote for Trump and 49% vote Hillary, all 10 votes go to Trump, right? They don't go, we'll give, half and half. No. So you have this situation where you can get more votes and still lose. And it's happened before, and it will happen again because America sucks and their voting system sucks. And that's what happened to Clinton. She got 3 million more votes than Trump and still lost. And Trump was in. He was fucking shit. He just fucked around, beat a pedophile, as I said. COVID happened. He got COVID and he nearly died, which would have been funny, but he didn't, and that sucked. He basically didn't do stuff. Like, he deported a bunch of migrants, but I think not as many as Obama did. He had a lot of immigrants in detention, but again, I don't think as many as Obama and Hillary. Hillary was like Secretary of State when Obama was in for a bit, so she loved doing that stuff. She hated immigrants. He did a few drone strikes. Again, I think Obama did more, but everyone hated Trump, right? Everyone hated him. His approval rating was fucking dog shit, way worse than any other president. Because, big surprise, a senile opioid addict with no actual ideas, who spends all his time eating fillet-of-fish burgers and tweeting random shit with spelling mistakes, is actually a bad president. He got impeached twice. While he was president, he got impeached twice, which, I don't know, I don't really understand what impeachment means, but it's like you basically get Congress or the government to go, hey, we don't like you very much, you're naughty, and then nothing happens to you because in America, if you're rich and or if you're a politician, you are above the law. So Trump fucking sucks. No one likes him. There's a new election. The Democrats are going up against the most hated president in all of American history. And Bernie Sanders is back on the scene and he's killing it in the primary. Everyone's going, Bernie Sanders is going to be the next president. Bernie Sanders is even polling well with disillusioned Republicans, I don't want to say moderate Republicans because there's no such thing as moderate or, extreme. There's just different political opinions. But Republicans that hated Trump, right? They were liking Bernie Sanders. People even people that disagreed with him politically or economically were like, yeah, but I do trust him. I do think he's a good person. But that's what people were saying. They were saying I think he believes what he says and I trust him and I like him. He was popular. He was popular amongst real average voters of all walks of life. People wanted real, proper change. And the Democrats said, fuck that shit. Let's fucking sabotage him again and get the oldest man in the world to run for president. And they got Joe Biden. Joe Biden sucks assholes. That's his job. He sucks. He'll see like an asshole and he'll be like, and suck it like an oyster. And he's the oldest man in the world and he has trouble opening his eyes. That's the only things I know about Joe Biden. And it goes to show you how much at the time people hated Trump. They hated his guts because Joe Biden comfortably won. And Trump is human dog shit, right? He's human dog shit. He's not even human shit. He's human dog shit. And he said, instead of saying, hey, I lost the election, oh well. He said, hey, the election was fake and rigged. All my supporters, you should storm the Capitol building. And his supporters, by this time, were all also human dog shit. Because you've got to remember, a lot of people voted for Trump in the first time around. That maybe they were just pissed off with the status quo. Maybe they just sort of voted Republican without thinking about it too much because they didn't really know. And they didn't even really know who this Trump guy was. Oh, yeah, seen him on the TV. Like, I'm not that politically engaged. Maybe there were people who just thought it was funny. They were just like, I'm voting for the guy from The Celebrity Apprentice. Like, there would have been a lot of votes of people who never thought he would even get it and would have been like, oh, shit, I shouldn't have done that. There would have been people that went, fuck, I shouldn't have done that. I was joking around. I didn't actually think, oh, man, he actually got up. Fuck. There would have been votes like that. But by this time in 2020, the only people who liked Trump were human dog shit people. People without any shred of decency, without any emotion. People who, were openly and radically racist. People, who wanted, the kind of people who would eat their kids if, for $1. You know what I mean? Like those kind of people. And they were the only supporters Trump had left. But there's still a lot of them because a lot of people in this world are fucked. And they were like, oh, let's try and overthrow the government. They put on military gear, they got zip ties and shit, they stormed the Capitol building. They bashed a cop to death. They tried to find various politicians they wanted to kill. They said they were going to kill them. They were chanting, we're going to kill you. Like, let's hang Mike Pence, let's kill Nancy Pelosi. They had like a working gallows. They're literally saying, we're going to kill you, we're going to kill you, we're going to kill you. And which is like, look, I'm like, I hate the cops as much as anyone, but it's a strategy. I would advise that running, like, bashing a cop to death and running and smashing into a building screaming, we're going to fucking kill you, is going to, at some point, make a cop go, oh, I'm going to shoot you. And this dipshit named Ashley Babbitt was, like, fucking around, and then she found out, bam, she got shot by a Secret Service guy or a cop or something. I don't know what he was. And then now she's a hero. She's dead, but she's a hero. And the dust cleared. A bunch of insurrectionists went to jail. Everyone said Trump would never get elected again. They were like, this is it. Like, what a fucking embarrassment. We're never going back.
Crabman.
Guess what? They went back. The Democrats' plan to have the oldest man in the world be president was not working out. He was literally just a skeleton wandering around. And during this time, the Republicans started becoming even worse people than they used to be. The Republicans who hated Trump were out. But they also could never vote for Democrats because they're old money, they're old school. They'll just sit out the election, right? So they're not working against Trump. They're just not voting anymore. Now the only Republicans left are the sickos, the Nazis, the fucking fascists, right? Trump supporters just by this point had purely become dog shit human trash. They literally held Nazi rallies around the country. They had multiple, like hundreds of actual fascist white pride rallies all around the country. This is around the time like the Christchurch killer was there. There were a bunch of massacres, a whole bunch of massacres. The dude that killed that woman at Charlottesville that drove over the protest. the guy that cut his dad's head off and posted a video because his dad was a liberal. Just mass shootings all over the place. Dudes like Charlie Kirk who were just openly saying like Americans need to arm themselves, a civil war's coming, we got to fight, like we physically, literally have to fight the left. And then he got shot himself, which, you know, I don't want to say it's funny, but objectively it's kind of funny, like in the poetically funny sense, right? But anyway, Trump supporters like mobilizing, they're getting more and more violent, they're just literally doing terrorist attacks. They right-wing violence starts to eclipse Islamic terrorism for the most done terrorism, way more than like left-wing terrorism. Like that barely rates, but there's a lot of right-wing terrorism. And now Trump wins the nomination. He's back with a party that is like hardened and full of sickos and actual fascists. And he's running against the oldest man on earth. And the oldest man on earth can't speak. Literally can't speak. He has a debate and he can't talk words. So Trump is looking like he's going to win because he's a living, conscious human. And the Democrats, they decide, let's fire the oldest man alive and get an ex-cop or ex-Justice Department, I don't know, was she a cop? I can't remember, named Kamala Harris to run for president against Trump. Because the Democrats' plan was, hey, people like Trump, because he wants to kill gay people and brown people, maybe they'll like this woman who only wants to kill Palestinians, right? Like they want someone who wants to kill some people. Well, she wants to kill Palestinians, but let's not go crazy here. Like, you know, we don't want to kill too many people. And that's where the Democrats fucked up. Right? Because, yeah, they tried to fight fire with fire, but like a bit less fire. Like you can't, you know, if you're going to try and be like the fucking person you're running against, you got to be more than them, not less than them. Like if you have a bunch of angry dudes and like, oh, we want to kill everyone who isn't white, you know, we like a bunch of bigots that want to kill everyone, they're going to vote for the guy who wants to kill the most people, not the woman who only wants to kill some people, right? If you got people that are like, oh, all the criminals should be shot in the face and all the immigrants should die, and then you get a woman that goes, only some of the criminals should be shot in the face and like only a few of the immigrants should die. Well, then fucking no one's going to vote for that woman. Who the fuck's going to vote for her? And here's the thing: there'll be a bunch of people who don't want to, you know, who don't want to vote for Kamala Harris, and they're going to just sit the election out, and then you can complain and go, oh, they sat the election out, fuck them. Well, yeah, but like, why didn't you put up a candidate who they would have voted for? That's your fault. That's on you, dickhead. But and also, it's not on you, it's on fucking America. It's on the system of government because you have a dumb fuck piece of shit voting system. You got to get rid of it. What are you doing? The majority of people of the voting public did not want Trump to be the president, but because they have this old school ancient method of first past the vote, post voting with no rank choice, it's literally impossible for a third party to be in the mix. It's a two-party system. It's a dumb fuck, pants-shitting opioid addict and child rapist can get elected despite more than half of the population, the voting population, not wanting him elected. And that's what happened. He won again. The sickos and the sickos voted, the non-sickos didn't vote as much. And Trump won again, despite the fact that I think he did get more overall votes, but still, like in the vast majority of adult Americans still did not vote for Trump. But he's the president. And also, Trump, I feel like he's openly said that he and Elon Musk rigged some voting machines in multiple interviews, like sort of jokingly. And he said it a bunch of times, like, oh yeah, we rigged the voting machines. And no one talks about it. No one ever talks about it in the media. And I sort of understand why, because that seems like conspiracy theory bullshit. And that is literally the kind of bullshit that Trump said that the Democrats were doing. And everyone said, don't fucking repeat that, it's bullshit. It's bullshit, which it was bullshit. And I guess, like, it sounds fucking bullshit, but if Trump literally said it openly a bunch of times, maybe just look into it. Maybe just have a quick check. Like, if someone's, you know, like if someone's saying, "Oh, I reckon there's a pedophile in this pizza shop," it's like, "Oh yeah, there's probably not." But if someone says, "I'm a pedophile," maybe they're joking, but maybe have a quick check. Anyway, Trump said he'd rigged the election and no one checked. But it doesn't matter because America's fucked now. Who cares? Because now America has, this new Republican Party. They don't have the old guard left. This one is actual Nazis and pedo supporters. And this time Trump is doing stuff. He's not just playing golf and being a pedo. He brought in tariffs, which killed the economy, fucked up millions of lives. He's fucked up other countries like Canada and Australia. Like, he's fucking with our shit over here. He gave ICE. This is the worst fucking shit he's done. He gave ICE and ICE is like the border force fucking guys. I can't remember what it stands for. Immigration Customs Enforcement. That's what it stands for. Fuck you. I fucking got it. You stupid fucking
Penis.
So he gave ICE massive powers and has just told them to go hog wild. In the USA, I don't know, like, are people watching this? I know people are watching this because I'm seeing it all over the fucking social media, but, like, there is a literal secret police in, like, black SUVs just driving around and snatching up Americans off the street and deporting them to fuck knows where. That is happening all over America right now. Trump tried to make another pedophile called Matt Gaetz, the Attorney General, but everyone was so upset about him being a pedophile that he resigned. But then Trump got this fuckhead called Pam Bondi, who likes to growl out Trump's asshole in exchange for the position. They just do anything they want. The Supreme Court has ordered Trump to stop deporting brown people and stop having military on the streets. He literally just put, like, military on the streets in various cities. And Supreme Court said, you can't fucking do this. And then Trump said, no, I'll just do it. Because he realized, like, a massive life hack is, like, when you're the president, you have money, you just do shit and no one will stop you. They'll just go like, oh, and they'll write like especially lefties, like, what are they going to do? Like lefties, and also, but more so center lefties, like NBC, ABC, fucking Democrats, people who liked Hillary Clinton and stuff. Like, what the fuck are they going to do? They're going to go, oh, this isn't very good. Oh, no. And they just sort of do that. And Trump's like, I'm going to fucking kill you. Like, I'm going to fucking kill you with a gun. And they're like, oh, I'm going to write a letter. I'm going to go on a news radio show and say, this is not very good. Like, Trump, in front of everyone's eyes, just openly became a full-on fascist. Like, and it's one of those things where it's like fucking everyone calls everyone a fascist, right? Everyone said that about George Bush Sr. They said it about George Bush Jr. They probably said it about Bill Clinton. At some point, someone said it about Obama. Like, people say it about fucking everyone, right? Trump is literally a fascist. Like, when you have, like, secret police running around, snatching people up, when you're literally going, yeah, I'll just run for a fucking third term, I don't care. Like, just, Supreme Court, fuck you, I'll just do it, I'll do it anyway, I don't give a fuck. Like, he's literally a fascist. And the mainstream media and politicians all around the world, including here in Australia, they're too cooked. Their brain is too cooked. They're too stuck in, like, this old world, oligarchy mindset. They literally can't imagine that this is actually happening. They just can't do it. It's fucking crazy. Like, they're sort of doing it, but not really. They're like, oh, this is concerning and this is upsetting. And then they still just like, oh yeah, but let's have, like, all these relations with America and talk to them and blah, 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 and not actually say he's a fascist. Like, it reminds me of this video I saw of the Boxing Day tsunami. And it was a video that a German tourist was shooting, and he was shooting how the water was all receding and going, what the fuck's going on? There's no water at the beach. What's going on? And then suddenly on the horizon, a large wall of water appears on the horizon, and this wall of water is heading straight for them. And he's like, what is that? What is that? That's weird. And the kid says, oh, it's a tsunami. And the dad, I'll never forget this, the dad replies, no. Like that. Like, and across language barriers, across cultural barriers, that's the sound of a dad going, no. Come on, no. Like, he couldn't believe it. It wasn't that he was, like, rejecting the idea. It was like his brain physically wouldn't allow him to believe it. He was like, tsunamis happen in movies. That's what happens in a movie. I saw a tsunami in the movie Deep Impact. That's a Hollywood movie. We're at the beach. We're just enjoying the beach. People don't have tsunamis when they're enjoying the beach. We've been here all week and I've not seen one tsunami. I've never had a tsunami happen my whole life. It couldn't be a tsunami. Don't be so dramatic. Bad things like that only happen in stories and folk tales. We are the German tourist, right? The whole world, America, us, fucking Australia, England, whatever. We're watching this and going like, oh, no. Like, yeah, we don't like Trump, yes. But he's not a fascist. He's not trying to overthrow the government. He's not trying to create the fascist state. Hitler was a fascist. You know, Trump supporters aren't fascists. They're decent people. We disagree with them politically. Nah, man. Like, they are cooked in the head. If you think for a single second that the Trump administration or whoever's in the fucking... I reckon Trump will be dead in like 6 months. But if he's not, but whoever replaces him as his heir, if you think for a second that they will give up power without violence, you have not been listening. And I don't mean listening or paying attention in the like, oh, you've seen the signs. I mean literally, cunts like Elon Musk and Steve Bannon have literally openly said, yeah, you need violence. Like, you need violence to take and hold on to power. Like Elon Musk literally said that to a far-right rally in England. He's like, yeah, if you want to get rid of the Labour government, you're going to have to overthrow them. You can't wait for another election. He literally said that to. Like, it's not even slightly hidden. Like Elon Musk doing the fucking Nazi salute. Just literally doing a Nazi salute, and then this whole world of cognitive dissonance going, no, it was, my heart goes out to you. Fuck off, you dumb cunts. Like, Elon Musk, Steve Bannon, Trump, all these cunts, they have said it. They continue to say it. They love violence. They will use violence to hold on to power. They don't give a shit about the law. They don't care. Right-wing violence, it is not both sides. It's the right wing. The right wing are bad. They are fucking bad. And not just in America, worldwide. The violence committed by far-right extremists, and I hate using the word extremists and far-right and far-left because the political compass is all bullshit. No, I've talked about that in another episode. I think I might do another episode again because I feel like that episode wasn't good enough. But anyway, if we're talking about people that are left-wing versus right-wing violence is categorically and demonstrably way bigger, way more widespread, way worse, way more shootings, massacres, cars running people over, people cutting their fucking dads' heads off. Like, it's way worse and killed way more people. And what's crazy is it's not even for anything. Like, you know, the right wing in America, they don't have real beliefs. Like, as in they believe things, but the things they believe in just aren't real. They aren't based in reality. They don't believe that Donald Trump is a pedophile, despite he's been best friends with a pedophile who ran a pedophile ring and went to jail for being a pedophile who ran a pedophile ring. And they found all these notes written between him and the pedophile because they were best friends. And they don't believe it. They don't believe that. But they do believe that there is a secret pedophile ring for liberals where they go into a pizza shop and be pedophiles and drink babies' blood to make them strong for Satan. They do believe that. They just made it, like, and they're fucking killing people for that. Because we have normalized it everywhere. In America and Australia, we've normalized this radical right-wing bullshit where we go, yeah, it's bad. I disagree with it, but, you know, it's different opinions. You know, it's just different opinions. And it's also like polarization and both sides, and just no. It's fucking right-wing psycho bullshit is gone fucking crazy. And it's crazy that America has gotten so bad, but we're still going to, Australians are still going to America on holidays and shit. Despite the fact that multiple people, including Australians, have been deported or even locked up in maximum security prison for literally no reason. You can literally be deported from America if you have a photo on your phone that makes JD Vance look like a little baby. That's true. That has happened literally. It's a fucking clown show. And for some reason, we are, as a country and as a government, aren't telling America to fuck off and die. Now, we aren't just saying, fuck you, like, fuck you. We'll fucking have relations with you when you get a fucking better president. Like, this is, fuck you. Fuck off. And you might say, well, that's a bit extreme, Greg.
Said holy moly, strike bowling and hijinks. So
you might say that's a bit extreme. I mean, yes, America are bad, but they're still the world's biggest economy. They're still our allies. But, like, I mean, yeah, but for how long? And, like, it's not just that they're a bit bad. They're fucking bad. And it's not just that they're, they're fucking with us a little bit. They're fucking with us a lot. Trump has openly said, so we signed a deal with America where we would get some submarines in like 30 years' time. We're paying them like billions and billions of dollars and we'll get some fucking 2 submarines, right? Already a shit deal. And Trump has openly said, you're not getting the fucking submarines. I'm keeping the money, but you're not getting shit. And we're just like, oh, yeah, okay. Like, because, like, he's trying to make us lose our pharmaceutical benefit scheme. He's putting pressure on us to get rid of our pharmaceutical benefit scheme. So people who have diabetes, people who have health conditions can't get medicine because Trump is worried that the pharmaceutical companies aren't making enough of a profit. Fuck America, man. Tell them to fuck themselves. They're not our allies. They're our enemy. They're allied with Russia. Russia are our enemies. How much money can this cunt steal? How many Australians can he lock up or deport? How many enemies can he suck the dicks off? How many kids can Trump rape before we go, hey, look, we had a good run, America, but we're gonna more go to Europe, Asia, whatever. We're not mucking around with you anymore. See you later. When does that happen? Like, at what point does that happen? Just watch any video of ICE in America snatching up a random man, a random woman, a child from the street. Watch any of those videos. Just watch it. And if you are okay with that, do a shit and then eat your own chip. Eat your own shit. Do a shit and eat shit. Oh, that was loud. Do a shit and eat your own shit. If you're okay with that, then do a shit and eat your own shit. And if you see a video of ICE snatching up a man, a woman, a child, someone from the street, and you're not okay with that, the next time someone says something like, oh, Trump isn't so bad, or like, look, I understand people are frustrated, but, you know, he says things that make sense, or like, Trump isn't great, but the left is on a witch hunt, or, you know, both sides are just as bad as each other, and there's a lot of political polarization, or hey, we need to turn the temperature down. You should kick them really hard in the side of their knee so their knee pops out. What else can you do? You're going to pop a knee, pop it out. Oh, I just swallowed my own spit. Funny. So yeah, that's my the state of American politics. I hope you like it, and I hope to see you soon on the Greg Grassen Show.
The Greg Larson Show. The big unit is ready to go. The Greg Larson Show. Muck around on the master plan.